So good morning, and thanks to all of you for coming out. Thanks to you for coming out. In 2001, the people of the city inaugurated a new era of nonpartisan government. With Michael Bloomberg as mayor, and with a new sense of independence, the city began to move beyond years of petty politics and clubhouse control. As an early supporter of Bloomberg's, a member of the Independence Party, which gave him his margin of victory in 2001, I am very proud that I campaigned for him. I'm one of many New Yorkers who feel that the city is headed in a positive direction, and at the same time, I am one of many New Yorkers concerned about the issue of where we go from here. In 2009, our city will have to make a decision about whether we return to the days of clubhouse control or parties and partisans calling the shots, or whether we move ahead and build off the independent foundation of the last 6 years. We've come here today out of a concern with that issue. Though I am well known, even somewhat notorious, in political circles, I'm not a politician. I am a developmental psychologist and a community organizer. Yes, I've run previously for office. I've been a candidate nationally and in New York, though not for 13 years. But during those 13 years, I've focused my energies on 3 things. One is building an independent movement like the Independence Party for the express purpose of opening the door to new reform-oriented leaders like Michael Bloomberg. Second, I've worked to encourage the Black community to be more free-thinking and to partner with white independents as they did in 2005, when 47% of Black voters broke with the Democrats and voted for Bloomberg. I've also worked to create new youth programs and projects for all New Yorkers designed to overcome divisions that keep the people of this city and this country apart. Most recently, my energies have gone to a project called Operation Conversation. After the fatal shooting of Sean Bell by police officers at the end of 2006, there were marches and protest rallies and legislative hearings, which many New Yorkers, including me, participated in. At the same time, though, it appeared to me that we had to respond to this situation in new ways. As someone with close connections to inner-city Black youth and to police officers, I felt that the lack of communication, the lack of understanding, their inability to see each other as human beings were contributing in dangerous ways to the tensions between cops and young Black males. These are tensions that aggravated the events that led to Sean Bell's tragic death and to the deaths of so many others. So my approach was to go directly at the problem, to set up sit-downs between ordinary kids and cops on the beat. No press, no observers, just an unmediated conversation where they could look each other in the eye and speak frankly and uncensored about their experience of the other. There have been 25 of these dialogues, Operation Conversation, also known as Cops and Kids, that have involved more than 500 police officers and young people of color from all 5 boroughs. What they've learned from this experience, the cops and the kids, is that they could together create a different way of speaking to and of seeing the other. How does that affect the scene on the streets? Well, the kids report to me that they now say hello to police officers when they see them rather than going out of their ways to avoid them. And that they point out to their friends some of the cops they've been in workshops with. They say, you know, he's okay. Police officers report that they make a point of smiling and speaking to these young people to signal to them that they know that they are community members who also deserve their respect. Much has been accomplished at the level of bringing politicians and policymakers together under Michael Bloomberg's stewardship. But lasting solutions come when regular people come together in their lives and in their neighborhoods. Operation Conversation is one example of the kind of initiative in which the people of our city can more directly take responsibility for public safety. Yes, we have a good police commissioner, and yes, his officers have been very responsive to this program. But communication and collaboration among groups that are alienated from another has to be created by them from the bottom up. This is also true in education, where the successful reform of our schools rests ultimately on our young people developing and growing as learners. This is not a bureaucratic issue, it's a developmental issue. Mayor Bloomberg fought for and won mayoral control of the school system, eliminating a board of election or of education that was rife with patronage and politics. That's a critical first step, that in getting the schools out of the partisan crossfire generated out of Albany and into a zone where good management and accountability could prevail. But that was only a beginning. Next come the issues of the achievement gap, the learning model, and the extreme underdevelopment of young people from inner city communities. The mayor has made some limited progress in chipping away at these problems. He's created goal-oriented reforms to drive up test scores and overall performance. But the backwardness of the school system, combined with the parochialism and poverty of the most disadvantaged communities, have to be grappled again from the bottom up. How do we do that? Supplemental education, better known as after school, has a central role to play in this redevelopment process. Where innovative after-school programs are supported, they produce results and communities grow. Some of these efforts, unfortunately, have been hamstrung by politics. Sadly, some elected officials attempted to block an IDA bond on purely political grounds for one of the city's most successful after-school programs, the All-Stars Project, which I co-founded. The mayor stood up to that partisan pressure on behalf of the thousands of kids served by the All-Stars. But what's going to happen in our city after 2009? Do special interests regain their control over the school system, over the IDA, over the after-school system, and turn back the clock on the innovations and developmental approaches that are just now taking root? That would be unconscionable. Because in the final analysis, it's the young people of the city who are going to turn the school system around. We have to give them the tools, the innovations, the love, and the discipline to become more worldly and developed, to become, in the words of the Princeton philosopher K. Anthony Appiah, much more cosmopolitan. Public safety, education, political reform, these are all important areas where we must continue to move ahead. Electoral reform is key.